Hey everybody, it's 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and that means you're listening to Chopping It Up on Crazy Country 105.9, the number one radio talk show on Crazy Country at 10 a.m. And this is your host, Keith Saarloos, where we sit down and talk about the Valley. We talk about the people who make it special, unique, who've come here chasing a dream, want to raise their kids, start a business, basically the people that make this Valley what it is and a beautiful place to live for the last 100 years. I'm Keith Saarloos. We make wine. We're located right there on Grand Avenue in Los Olivos, California. I do this for fun, but I do that for profit, and that's how I feed my kids. So if you're listening to this, come in, buy a hat, buy a bottle of wine. You won't be disappointed. And who you're listening to in the background, this is my good friend. He's come in today, brought his guitar. We're going to talk to him. He's a singer, songwriter, producer, absolutely wonderful guy. His name's John Firey. And John has been, if you've been around the Valley, if you've gone to a show, you've gone to Lost Chord, you went down and saw the David Crosby tribute, John was there with a lot of our friends, always playing. John likes to hide behind the scenes. He is a showman, but he's humble as they come. And I asked him this morning, we were over at getting coffee over at Good Seed. I go, hey man, let's go record something. He goes, all right, I guess so. So I twisted his arm and he came in and he's playing a little music behind us. And let's talk to someone you might not know, but you definitely need to. Hey John, how's it going?
Keith, it's going great. How are you, buddy?
Hey, do you know how microphones work? You gotta get your face nice and close there.
I'm coming in hot.
You're coming in hot.
Is that better?
Yeah. So did you just play that off the top of your head?
Yeah, just noodling and doodling.
See that you possess a skill. I think that a huge amount of people are envious of, which is being able to pick up a guitar. If I play it, it sounds like somebody like stumbling across the ground. When you play it, something comes out of it, and you can feel soul. You can hear something. You can put words to it. You can move people emotionally just by listening to that. And I think, if you're listening to Crazy Country, or you're listening to any station, but Crazy Country is the one we like.
Sure.
Some of the greatest singer-songwriters that there've ever been, we were talking about this morning, right? Shel Silverstein wrote Boy's Name Sue, and then Johnny Cash sang it. Johnny Cash was not the best guitar player in the world, not the best singer in the world. But when he sang songs, they were kind of singer-songwriter that came from the heart. We were talking about Bob Dylan today, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, where did those words come from? That's another great question.
We know where those words come from.
There we go. So what got you into music? When did you start? What is your story? How'd you find the Valley? Why do you love it? I mean, I'm just throwing everything at you right now because this conversation for the next 30 minutes can go anywhere we want it to go. And it's fun just to sit here and talk to a friend.
Man, that's a big question. Let's go back to the beginning of the madness. I was raised in the South, Oklahoma, musical family. My dad played. He had 5 brothers, and they were in a bluegrass band.
Really?
Yeah, Firey brothers. They had
oh, by the way, Class A name.
Great name, right?
Great name.
It's not made up. It's our last name.
I love it.
And they had like these matching red velvet suits, and they had afros and mustaches, and they go play bluegrass music.
Awesome.
So I grew up around that. Family reunions were like jam sessions and music parties and hayrides and all that. So I just kind of fell into a musical scenario and loved it ever since I was little. Started playing guitar when I was 14, 15, and loved it. Started to get pretty good at it. Took a few lessons and then just took out on my own, figuring things out. And then it came to that crossroads of finishing high school. Mm-hmm. Love music, passionate about it, writing songs, playing guitar, or play basketball. So you can't see on the radio, but I'm 6'5", and I used to be really good at basketball. So I came to this crossroads of what am I going to do, and had 2 different basketball scholarships presented to me, and then I had music, and so I made the wise, logical choice to go play music.
Right, be an artist.
And move to Nashville and say no to the free education. But moved to Nashville and just started figuring it out.
And you had parents. I mean, if you had a different background, say your dad was an accountant, right? And those 2 choices are poised in front of you, right? 9 times out of 10, it's, hey, go get a free education, go play some basketball. You're really great at this. Keep playing guitar in your, in the back room or in front of church or whatever. But your family was supportive of it and said, hey, yeah, go chase your dream.
Yeah.
What a luxury.
I remember the moment I woke up from a long Sunday afternoon nap, and I was 18 trying to figure out what to do. And I just went into my parents' room and said, I'm going to move to Nashville. And my mom said, okay, do you need me to get your laundry washed and ready and packed? And so they were completely supportive, and
That's
still
amazing.
are.
That's awesome. So you moved to Nashville. How was it entering the meat grinder that is the music scene of Nashville?
Well, I was lucky enough to not fully understand what I was walking into, and so ignorance is bliss. I did have family there, which was super helpful because I was able to stay with them for a little bit.
Yeah.
I figured it out. So that's exactly what I did. Moved in with them and just started making calls and sending emails and getting to know people. And I was really fortunate to find work pretty early on, and snowballed from there.
So you found work. Where were you playing?
Started doing a lot of studio work. So I was a session player.
Really?
And then having a background as like a solo instrumental guitarist, so that kind of rolled into actually a big part of my career. So got approached to do, I just met this guy at church one day out of nowhere. He says, hey, you play guitar, right? And I said, sure. And he said, do you ever play any like instrumental music, like Christmas songs or wedding songs or gospel hymns or just solo acoustic? And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I love that. And he said, well, I work for a record company, and that's what we do. We take these albums and we put them in Walmart and Target and back then Best Buy and stores like that.
Wherever records are sold.
Wherever your favorite records are sold.
There you go.
And he said, well, give me some music. And I did. And about a month later, a check came in the mail and said, here, we're going to pay you to make this record, and then we're going to put it out. And so that snowballed into making instrumental guitar records for those big box like retail stores back when we sold CDs.
Right. So is that, I mean, what year was this? Late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, that would have been, I graduated in 2001. So
Okay.
this was probably between then and 2005, 6 is when it took off. And that's been a huge part of my story and my career is making guitar music.
So that kind of sounds, from a layman's perspective, that's a bit of a secret home run, right? Where if you're making music that you want to make and you're making it with an end result or a end consumer in mind, right? They're buying it, and to get distribution or to get placement in any one of those stores is a very difficult thing to do. And if you're saying, well, I could just walk into a room with my guitar and just start playing and put together something that I'm proud of and then have a home for it. Yeah. I mean, and without having to, in a funnier way, like when Steve Martin says, everybody says they want to be rich and famous. He said, try rich first and then, see if you want to be famous. Yeah. But there's a certain beauty in the anonymity of being able to make a living as a musician, an artist, and getting to be anonymous to a certain extent, right? Where you're like, hey, I get the check. I'm making music I want to make. This is pretty much a dream scenario.
Yeah, it was cool, especially at the time. I was young, single, and had nothing better to do with my time than make music. But it was a lot of work. Sure. These CDs that I would sell into these stores, it was like a 3 CD set. So I'm making records with 70, 80, 90 songs.
No kidding.
Just kind of cranking them out. Hobby Lobby was a big thing for me. I put records into their stores. But
the number one selling artist of Hobby Lobby all time. I'm looking right at him right now.
That's a top secret.
That's an amazing secret.
I think they still play my music in their stores.
That's awesome.
Today. But but at the same time, I was doing sessions and I was touring. Yeah. Started to tour with different bands. Started in the Christian music industry and then kind of shifted into country. Yeah. So I had a lot of irons in the fire. But I loved it, and it was fun.
That's awesome. So how do you make the jump from Nashville to Santa Ynez Valley?
So I got married in 2005. My wife, Allison, and I, we were celebrating 20 years.
Congratulations. That is quite a milestone.
I have no clue how we made it. Yep. But we had always wanted to have a family. Family was a big thing on our priority list, and started that journey and just struck out. For whatever reason, we just weren't able to have kids. And so we went down this 8-year journey of all this infertility and surgeries and medication and doctors and this whole thing. And it was really, really disappointing, really hard time. But eventually we decided to adopt. And so we adopted my 12-year-old Grace, And we were there when she was born. I cut the cord from day one, so she was ours, and we were there. So that was we had our little girl, we had our family, we were great with that. Went back to Nashville after adoption was done, and I came home, flew home one night from a show, and jumped in the shower, and my wife walks into the bathroom and she's just shaking. I'm like, oh great, did somebody die or what? This is bad. She says, I'm pregnant. I'm like, no, you are not pregnant, because that's impossible. Yeah. So we ended up living in Nashville with 2 girls 10 months apart, wow. 2 little girls. And so my wife was an account manager for Lady A and some other big country bands. So she was working. I was getting on a bus every weekend. Mm-hmm. And we just got to a point where we said, we waited so long for these girls and we're going to miss it. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of started to look for an exit ramp and maybe a different lifestyle, change of pace. And yep. We'd had enough success and enough inroads in the music industry, we could step away from it for a little while to figure out what we wanted to do. We'd come to the valley, Santa Ynez Valley, to do a concert. And we just loved it. The people were great. It was beautiful. And just had a weird conversation of, hey, what would it look like if we just left Nashville, moved to this little valley and raised our girls and just did something different for a while. So that's what got us here.
Well, you kind of... You came on my kind of vision of, I see you playing at church, but you also play with our friend Kathleen Seek, and went to a show and saw her playing, and you're there, and hey, what's going on here? And always been impressed by your musical talent, but also you are a guitar player. Like like you've said to me once, you're like, hey, I can sing okay, but I can play guitar pretty well. And seeing you plug in all over the place, it seems like anywhere I go, it's like, oh, there he is. How's it going, man? Yeah. I got to see you at the David Crosby event, which was pretty. I mean, for all the people that don't know anything about this or haven't heard, was it 805 Records? Or who was the person who put out the record of the show?
Yeah, it's a company in Santa Barbara, kind of a boutique record company, and they make records called Cali Americana. There it is. They're tribute records to various artists that are like Central Coast or Santa Barbara based. And honestly, man, I thought I was going to move out here and fade into musical obscurity. That was kind of the plan. Mm-hmm. And little by little, opportunities kept popping up. I was still doing remote sessions, still writing songs, met Kathleen, different musical friends. Started to snowball a little bit, and then I remembered how much I love that and how much that's kind of a beautiful part of what I do in my life. But the David Crosby tribute record was kind of the kicker that sort of reminded me that maybe there's more for me left in music, in professional music. And that was a fun process. We did the release at the Granada, Santa Barbara, sold out the place. It was a lovely night, 30-piece orchestra, full band, tribute to his music.
I'm getting chills just when you're describing it, because I'm going back in my head to number one, the Granada being just like one of the most beautiful theaters I've ever been in my life. It's like if the Muppet Show was real, it would be the Granada Theatre. But that's just me. I like Muppets. But the beauty of what you're just describing was the amount of talent that was on that stage that night, from singers, performers, people picking up, playing 12 different, it felt like everybody was playing 12 different instruments. Yeah. And people walking on stage, singing songs we know, from our local hero, David Crosby. And it was just such a beautiful night. And right now, if you go to like Spotify, I think, like that night they announced, hey, as you're leaving this, you can go listen to all the songs you just heard right here on, right here, you could stream it. And which we did on the way home. And it was such an amazing package of professionalism and music kind of in this new era, right?
Yeah, and for me personally, being asked to be a part of that, that kind of shifted things in my head, where I was like, I kind of have more to offer the musical community, and that was kind of the turning point for me personally. So I don't know what that looks like moving forward. I'm writing more, I'm recording more, producing more, and so we'll see what that turns into. But all of that happened because of the Valley and the musicians, and just this network and community of artistic people here. LA's great, Nashville's great, but we have something really beautiful and special here.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So let's talk about that a little bit more, because I mean, it's always kind of really blown my mind quietly that there is a laundry, and I mean a laundry list of unbelievable musicians and people from that. Like, I'm throwing you in this boat, right? Where you're like, hey, I was writing this music. I was putting out 80 songs a year and selling them. But the list of people where you have Chris, lost chord guitars, right? Who goes around the world and making, the best of the best recording studios, all over the place. And here he is in the Valley, right? And then builds a place where other people can go and play. People that are making music for movies, people that are making or writing songs that are massive, massive hits. I mean, Michael Jackson lived here, for goodness sakes. I mean, it is part of the DNA of this Valley. It really is. It's one of the core principles where it's like, there's some amazing musicians here, and for some reason, when they find it, they feel plugged in. They feel their soul is in the right place to be able to create something beautiful.
Well, yeah, not to mention it's just a beautiful place.
Yeah.
So it's inspiring. Artists, musicians. I mean, I made a record 2 years ago that was dedicated to the Valley because it inspired me so much.
Where can we find that record?
Spotify.
What's the name
Apple
of it?
Music. It's called Taste of the Valley.
Taste of the Valley.
And it's all instrumental, but I have this old Jeep and I drive around a lot, and I would just be driving and sort of get a melody or something in my head. I'd pull over. I always have a guitar with me and just write a song. And so then I made a record with those songs. But I think that rings true for a lot of artists up here. Just being here, there's an energy, there's a vibe, there's beauty, mountains, ocean, the weather. I mean, all of that. I was in Nashville last week and somebody said, man, you can go downtown any time of the day and see some of the best musicians in the world playing on Broadway. And that's true.
True.
But I said I can go out any night of the week in the Valley and find some of the best musicians in the world.
Yeah.
Lost Chord, Maddie's, all these different places that host and have concerts. It's really thick here.
It is pretty shocking that it's overlooked, to a certain extent, where even like Logan Livermore was doing those concerts over at Maddie's, at the Maverick, right? Where it was like last Thursday of the month, and I hope he's bringing them back, where they picked a great charity. They would have someone come in. You played, I think, and Kathleen, and then Logan played, and it was so amazing just to be in that room because, you can talk things, you get a little woo woo with it where you're like energy or feel or vibe, but everybody's got kind of, whatever they call it when you go in and you can feel that energy in the room. You can feel the music coming out, and it always seems like it's a very honest place. That these things are coming in, and the people who are singing or performing are just absolutely pouring their guts out onto the dirt and are singing from the heart. And it's not just another show, right? It is it's something special that's happening all at once. And if you're there to see it, you saw it. And if you weren't, you weren't. And that kind of goes for the whole Valley. Like when you said Songs of the Valley, it's pretty tough to wake up here before the sun comes up and not have a bad day. Yeah. It's like you look around, you're like, man, look at that. That's pretty. That's a great place to start.
Yeah. And, from an artist's standpoint, a lot of people ask me, well, what style is your music? And I can't tell them. There's no genre or style because the local artists and the artistic community and the musicians, we're all in the same boat. We can't really describe what we do, but we're inspired by this place. And we honor it in our music, and it comes through in our music. But it's Americana, and it's folk, and it's singer-songwriter, and it's like earth and dirt and mountains and ocean. And it just sort of spills through. But I love that we can't describe what we do, but we're inspired to do it, and we keep doing it. It's fun.
I am... When you were just describing all of those things, one of the things that I go back to is, at one point, 35 some years ago, a sitting president lived on the top of this hill, right? And he found this place and was inspired and fell in love with it. And just like I can't describe to you why I love my wife in such a way that you hear it and fall in love with her sight unseen, right? It is something to be experienced. Yeah. And the fact that we can drive within a half hour, we're in the ocean. Within 20 minutes, we're on the top of a mountain. We're surrounded by vineyards and cattle and all of these things that seem I won't say mundane. I'm just saying you're driving down a road and it's just flying past you as you're getting from one place, going to El Rancho or whatever and grabbing a sandwich, but you're inundated by that beauty, right? And it is so interesting to me how places can start a style, right? Mm-hmm. Where you could say, oh, Seattle had a style, or Nashville has a style, or this has a style, but man, I can hear Valley style. Yeah. With a lot of artists here where it's like, oh, that's definitely a Valley song. Yeah. So you've been here for how many years now?
Coming up on 10.
Okay.
This will be our 10th year starting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. Raising your family here, which is by far, as someone who has one in college and one in a junior, if people ask me, like, talk about wine or this or that, I always think, I moved here to raise kids, like you. Mm-hmm. Right. And anybody who's listening to this on the radio, if you moved here to raise your kids, or you had the opportunity to raise your kids in this valley, it is something special. Yeah. Because it is the right place to pot your kids. Put those little seeds in the soil here. They will outgrow the pot, right? And they're going to want to go out and see the world and everything else. Yeah. But when they get out there in the world and they look back, they go, "Wow, I really had a special, unique, great upbringing." Mm-hmm. So after 10 years, congratulations, man.
Thanks. The question on most young families in the Valley's mind is, how do we stay here?
That's 100%.
Life moves and the economy is what it is. But, we want to stick around as long as we're able to. And I tell my wife all the time, if we end up going somewhere else or our lives change and we move, like, it'll never be better than this.
What a great line. Yeah. That sounds like a line to a song, actually.
Hey,
there you go.
Get right on that.
You never stop. That's great.
Well, you told me how easy songwriting is.
Yeah, well, it's just you put words to music, man. How hard can it be?
It's a little more to it than that.
A little bit more to it. I get it. So what's on the horizon for you? What are you looking forward to? What do you think is... I mean, as an artist, you've lived a pretty interesting life, following your heart over to Nashville, getting a foothold and providentially, is a good word for it, being able to create music, make a life out of it, move into the Valley, getting to raise kids, having, kids within 10 months, which is, I'll sit back and clap for you on that one. What are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to in the future for you and your family and music, anything?
Yeah. I love being a dad, and that comes with its challenges. Mm-hmm. So I want to obviously continue to be the best dad I can be and husband. And we have a great community here that I love being a part of, friends and musical friends and all of that. Musically, I don't know. I have the fortunate experience of there's nothing I didn't get to do that I wanted to do.
Say that again.
There's nothing that I didn't get to do that I wanted to do.
You realize how rare that is in music.
It is rare, and I realize that I'm fortunate. I have a lot of gratitude. Yeah. I've played music in every U.S. state we have. Traveled all over the world. Played, now 7,000 to 8,000 concerts. Sold records. I got to play the Ryman and the Grand Ole Opry. I got to do all of the stuff.
Wow, what a list!
And I'm grateful. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I just was there and I worked hard. So musically, I don't really have a to-do list or a want list in front of me. So that's actually fun because I just take things as they come and then decide if it's the best thing for me at the time. And then
you're really living in the moment.
Yeah,
that is rare.
Yeah. So we don't have a ton of future plans. Get our girls through school and get them launched into the world and. Be married and enjoy our lives and be here. But we'll see what happens,
That's exciting. So if people want to find out more about like the music that you have created, this is us. That's what this show is about, right? This show is about talking to people that you see every day, driving around in your Jeep, waving, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And giving them a little, soapbox for everybody to stand on and say, hey, this is who John Firey is. This is what he's been up to. This is what he's doing. Plug a few of the things that you're proud of with musically, where they can find them, how they can, know more about you and where they can see you playing.
Yeah. Musically, I've got a huge catalog on Spotify and Apple Music.
And spell your name so people can find.
Yeah. So last name Firey, Firey, like the fiery furnace from the Old Testament. I think that's spelled a little different. Firey. You can
Yep.
find me on like Instagram and
All that good stuff.
Tickety Tack and Spotify. But
Tickety-tack.
I would say 2 records I'm really proud of.
Yeah, this is what I want to hear about.
Would be the Cali Americana Volume 3, the David Crosby tribute record. That's out.
And by the way, I think if you are listening to this, I'm telling you later today when you're away from your radio, right? That album is actually something super special.
Yeah.
It is amazing to listen to an album of songs that you know, but played in a way that is special and unique and different. Because I've always thought that a great song is a great song is a great song, and I always love hearing a great song played by multiple different styles, and then you can go, oh, those are the words I know in a different kind of a package. And the talent level that was on there
Oh, it was crazy.
was crazy.
Yeah, I was definitely underwater in that bunch. But I had fun.
Who are some of the other people that were at that show?
Well, the band alone, my friend Tarek is Josh Groban's band leader. He's been with Josh for years. He put everything together. Steve Postel was David Crosby's guitarist.
Yep.
Played for Neil Young. And, we had Eric Clapton's piano player there.
Yes.
We had David Crosby's son playing piano. Austin Bede, drummer from the Valley who plays with everybody, and he's a legend. So
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yeah, we had lead singer from Toad was there, and 30-piece orchestra beyond that. So it was
Unbelievable.
just incredibly talented and really sweet, kind people.
Yep. Kathleen played. You played. Kathleen Seek, who has her album's really, really great. She just put out a new one. And then who's the woman who sung? There were 2 backup singers that also got to walk up and sing.
Yeah,
They
Lois
were-
Mahala was one of them, and
Yes.
she's a friend, artist, great. Shantice actually did Guinevere, and
That's right. That's right.
she nailed it.
Okay, that was the one I was kind of searching for, because as soon
Yeah.
as you said her name and Guinevere, like the hair on my arms came up, because just to paint the picture of that night in that room, right? Everybody's there for a reason. Like you're saying, packed. Everybody was dressed up. It was the production value was off the charts. The talent was off the charts. And when she sang that song, you could hear people blink.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful, like sonically, just sitting in that room and it kind of bouncing off the walls, and just to hear that voice come out of her with all of that 30-piece orchestra and the talent that were playing behind it. In my mind, and when I was driving home, and I think that's something I mentioned to my wife, how when that song was written, that was a big song, and it sounded different than things that were on the radio. And when you think of when somebody was sitting down like you, right, and getting a melody and being inspired and starting to pick at something and going through that songwriting process, and then getting to that angelic kind of sound and that harmony that Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young was known for, was something super special. And the fact that David grew up here, and you'd see him at the coffee shop and waved to him, "Hey David, how you doing?" "Hey man," And it was like, wow, this was something special. And I remember even my old man, when David would, come to our coffee shop or whatever and just sit down and talk, and he'd walk away, and my dad goes, "That's the guy who was on the radio my entire life."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, that's a big deal."
Yeah.
And to have music that, even after you're gone, right? We all miss David. But to have music that you can create that is a body of work that can last longer than your lifespan is something truly beautiful and a true gift that you can give to the rest of the world, and basically in perpetuity.
Yeah.
And it was such a special night. And you guys did such a great job. I just wanted to throw some flowers at you for that one.
Well, I'm proud of that record and all the people involved. And then you asked earlier, my Taste of the Valley record. I'm really proud of that one too. So all of that stuff is out there if people want to find it and check it out.
So what question did I not ask you?
I will just say this is a statement that you're a hard man to get compliments out of.
That's not true.
And to feel affirmed and noticed by you means so much.
Oh,
the mayor of Los Olivos in here telling me that I'm a good guitar player and a friend, that just means so much, man.
If you weren't giving me the bird the whole time you were saying that, I'd really appreciate that. That would be great.
We're on radio.
We're on radio. Good. We both got a face for radio.
That's right.
Hey, I just wanted to say, number one, thanks for coming in and sharing your story and telling everybody who you are. You're an easy person to spot. 6'6",
very handsome.
I forgot to mention. 6'6", very handsome. Usually dressed in all denim, right?
Of course.
They're driving around in Jeep. So if you live in the Valley, you're an easy man to spot.
That's right.
You're an easy man to spot. And you are a very kind person. I get to hear you every Sunday singing at church, which I really appreciate. And you do a great job there. My wife loves to sing. And if I ask her to sing, she always tells me no. But she sings nice and loud in church, so it's really nice to stand next to her and hear you sing.
Awesome.
So thank you for that gift as well.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Hey, so this has been John Firey with Keith Saarloos. Go look up his album. The Americana Volume 3 is absolutely a must listen to. Just put it on later on today when you're working out in the yard or doing anything else. But this valley is so special. And the fact that I get to do this radio show on Crazy Country 105.9 for a very amazing community that I get to grab people and say, hey, can you please come on the radio? And you said yes, is really special because, in all honesty, this whole valley is just teeming with people who deserve to be on the radio, to have their story told, to get a little bit of a spotlight, to get some flowers thrown at them. And so if you want to be on this show, I'm an easy man to find. Keith Saarloos. I'm at Saarloos and Sons, SAARLOOSANDSONS. See, that was musical. I did a pretty good job. Yeah. Saarloos and Sons, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. But reach out. If you have someone that should be on the show, reach out and say, hey, reach out to this person. Their story needs to be told. So this has been Keith Saarloos on 105.9 Crazy Country. Back to your regularly scheduled Saturday country music on 105.9.